Hey, it's Kim with the Homeschool Well podcast. You've caught our monthly Q&A today. It's a great message about homeschooling with multiple children and how to save time, money, and your sanity. There's one little glitch we need to apologize for, and that is the audio quality. Oh my goodness, we tried recording a little bit differently this month, and we learned that we're never going to do that again. So we apologize. If this is the first time you're listening, we have better quality of audio usually, but we couldn't not share this wonderful message. So listen in. We hope it blesses you. On with the show.
Hey, I'm Jenny Barr.
And I'm Kim Godfrey.
We're friends, former teachers, and homeschool moms ourselves who host the Homeschool Well podcast. We talk about topics that are important to homeschool moms so that you can be your child's best teacher.
Hey there, homeschool moms. Hope you are having a great week. We had a question this week about how do you schedule multiple kids so that you're not having to teach like one kid all the subjects and then the next kid all the subjects and the next kid, especially if you have 3, 4, 5 kids, like how do you do this? That's what we were going to talk about today. Like, how do you save time and money so that you don't have to teach every subject to every kid?
I feel like we need to add insanity to that.
Oh, yes. Save time, money, and sanity. Exactly. Because there aren't enough hours in the day.
No.
You can't get anything else done. So we wanted to just give you a couple tips today of how you can group things together for your family, because this is not school. This is not traditional school. This is homeschool, and you are a family. So you're going to do things together as a family so that you are not having to do everything separate. And we're going to tell you some things to do. The first thing that I did, and I know Kim did too, was that we grouped curriculum together. Like we grouped subjects together so that we didn't have to teach separate things to our kids. So like in my house, I taught Bible with my kids together, science, history, and then we would do read alouds together. And those were not things we typically did separately until my kids got older and then they were a little more independent. So what about you? Did you do that too?
Yeah, with the language arts and some of the, what am I thinking of? The mystery of history, that is aligned with activities for different ages that are extensions of the one content area that you read. So that curriculums like that make it really easy, boils down the time that you're spending. And you're also doing this cooperative grouping thing. You know, when we were public school teachers, it was called multi-age classrooms, right?
Yeah.
And so just think of your little one-room classroom as you guys are watching each other do your different leveled reactions, right? So responses.
Like responses,
right?
yeah.
You read or you learn the same content, and then each response is different and has different expectations attached to it because the kids are of different age. So if you have 6 kids, the littlest ones are going to be using crayons and finger paint, right, to draw and tell about what they learned in that science content. Maybe, it was sharks or something. Yeah, you all learned the content, but they're going to respond differently. And your older kids are going to be writing an essay with an actual paper and pen or inputting it into the computer. So those are lively times, and the kids are going to teach and learn from each other. And so it's not about you making 6 different or 3 different or 2 different even time schedules for each kid as much as it's about this cooperative learning group that you can have going on around the table or on the floor or in the backyard.
Right. So by doing that and grouping it together, you're not having to teach all these things at separate times of the day or separate lessons or separate topics or anything like that. So we did that too. We taught science together. We definitely taught history together. And the Bible we did during breakfast. And then if there was any extension to that, my kids did different things. But definitely doing that. And you don't have to buy 2 workbooks for that. One kid, the older kid, can work in the workbook and the younger one could be drawing a picture of that. Or the oldest kid is writing a paragraph about it and the youngest one can fill in the blanks in the workbook or something, so that you're not having to purchase all of these extra books and stuff.
I have another idea about math in cooperative groups that I think is important for me to bring up.
Oh, what?
Because we had a couple of years that we did this store concept, like own your own pet store. So it was like a bookkeeping curriculum that I really thought I was only going to use with one of them, but it really worked as like a project for both of them. And I can see this in a big family being something where this would be a good math project to do cooperatively. So that's just an idea. And a lot of these homeschool families with their entrepreneurship abilities, right? It's amazing.
I was just thinking, I think some people would take this like to the next level for sure.
Yes, they do. They show up at convention with their table full of things that they're selling that they made, so this handicraft turns into this entrepreneurship that is this huge math project that they've done cooperatively. And even the little one is standing there making change, of coins or whatever.
Yeah,
so
Etsy stores, all of it.
Yeah, from the pretend store to, if you really wanted to start some entrepreneurial thing, to my actual thing, which is kind of right in the middle. It was like middle school. That was like this pretend bookkeeping, own your own pet store and keep the books type of thing. And it involved a lot of word problems that ended up being, kids look at a word problem. Normally they're like, oh gosh, I hate these things. But this was like so applicable to what their fake store was that it was really kind of exciting. They had to put their stuffed animals in this fake scenario of eating so much dog food. Anyway, living math, right, in a cooperative way. And so that was my idea from the pet store thing. And that was that curriculum from Simply Charlotte Mason is where we bought that. It's a business math, living math series. And they have a few different workbooks like that. I only bought one workbook, and then they did a lot of things in little journals, and the extension activities from that just turned out to be really rich and rewarding. So I liked that for math. So we talked a little bit about curriculum. That was the first point. And then this next point is about accessing the community for rich learning experiences and not having to spend hundreds of dollars on tickets to formal classes that you might sign them up for, or the aquarium or museums. But we're talking about doing this in a DIY kind of fashion, or accessing classes that are free to the community at the library or at parks. Some of these parks around our town have animals that they keep in enclosures there, like rescued owls, snakes, reptiles, birds. I mean, it's amazing. Some of these parks are just your own little field trip and class waiting to happen. And you don't have to feel like, burden that you as the quote unquote teacher need to go do a bunch of research to learn about what to teach when you get there, because it's all right there. They have informational, placards and flyers, and there's usually a park ranger or a volunteer who they get very excited, these volunteers, when kids actually want to talk to them, or adults actually want to talk to them about the experience that they have set up in these education centers at some of these parks. Some of them are free.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we've spent money on places like the zoo and Animal Kingdom at Disney, and I would say that my kids learn so much more at these little cheap things that were like multi-age, where these park rangers or volunteers told us everything we wanted to know about the screech owl or the eagle they had there, or any of it. I mean, we learned so much.
Yeah, they get their specific questions answered, right?
It's very individualized.
They have time with the animals. A lot of times they have certain times where they take them out and you can have the animal encounter. Do you remember? I don't think you went to this experience with us, but it was Honeymoon Island. And Honeymoon Island they have a gorgeous nature center.
Oh yeah,
and
that's where I got that book. Yes.
Amazing, right? This is so funny. So they charge you per car to get in to the park. So here's another way. Me and two families that I thought
Jenny, like $6 for your money.
I used to have this huge car, like the Navigator or Expedition, Ford Expedition, right? So we met, it was two other moms. We met at the Publix at the end of the road. They parked their car, and we call it clown car. I could be around these women and say clown car to them, and they would start cracking up. I was like, just put everybody in the car. So clown card it. We all got their family. I was driving, so I was fine, but we like had kids stacked up on each other's laps. I mean, we fit everybody in this car so that we could also save money on the entrance fee and split the $6 because the it was just like a mile down the road, It's no big deal. Everybody was wearing seatbelts, I promise. It might have been 3 kids in one seatbelt, but that's okay. So we clown carded out there, right? We got there, had the amazing educational experience in the little building. And then when we walked around the property outside, it was right on the water. Don't you know that there just happened to be this like family of dolphins swimming right along the seawall. And so the kids were like running up and down the seawall, having this like amazing National Geographic moment with these animals, and so compare that to us spending $150 to get into the Clearwater Marine Aquarium, to sit there in the bleachers and watch these dolphins do their, thing,
Right.
and listen to the dolphin trainer tell about the thing. Like that was so memorable. From the clown car, first part before we got in there, to then that whole culminating, like just being out there and watching these wild dolphins swim. So just get some friends together. Like this is also the importance of having homeschool community, right?
Yeah.
Do your own DIY thing. Another thing that we did was we bought, it was probably the same family, the two families, right? We bought those owl pellet dissection things.
Oh yeah.
And we met at a park that we knew had the owls there, and they had the owls in the enclosure. And the kids, they went around, they looked at the owls. We brought our nature journals. I found a little worksheet that had all the bones of a mouse that they had to match up in the owl pellet, and they had to dissect it. And like my hands are going nuts if you can't see the video right now, but it was so cool. Like they remember that. And how much did we spend? We spent whatever cheap money it was to buy those owl pellet dissection kits that you can buy on Amazon. Yeah.
Right.
So
we did that too, and like glued the bones down on a piece of black paper, like construction paper, so you could see them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But
Very cool.
even if it's just your daily living things, they count as school. All you need to do is add an element of conversation to it, and maybe journal about it, or make a little cookbook. If you guys have a special recipe that you're making, especially for the holidays, you turn that into, that is education.
That's right.
I was just meeting with this family of 3 this week, and I was like, okay, I know you guys did more than just these workbooks and these like book pages. Like, I want you to think about, what are your hobbies? What do you do together that might be educational? What YouTube channels do you watch that are educational? What shows on TV? Because a lot of TV is educational. All these documentaries nowadays, so good. And then you end up having like this discussion club, similar to book clubs, because you're talking about what you're learning on this show and through this experience. Learning goes beyond buying curriculum. So you just need to adjust your mindset and think rich learning experiences with creative ways to respond to them. And that could be anywhere, even if
you
it's in
are
your
the
car.
Queen of that.
I get so excited.
Treasure. That's you.
Trash to treasure. That's another thing. Go back to our blog and our podcast about turning blank paper into language arts treasure, making paper bag books. And, then when you do things like that, and you're adding in the creative ways to respond, you have done so many different content areas, right? If you studied the thing, like my dolphin, story, you've done science. You've done some history, because at the education center, they talk about the history of that park and that area and where they're at. You've then done language arts. Even if they don't write down a thing, if they're orally retelling something to you, that's oral composition. That's a powerful skill. That is education. And if you want a paper trail of that, you just write down on your lesson plans, told me a story about how dolphins breathe, whatever. Right. But if they, and if they do write it or draw a picture and label it, then you've got spelling, grammar, cursive, you've got handwriting. It just is exciting to experience education, and then see what your kid will come up with when you just give them an open door, instead of this framework that has to be the boxes on the list are checked. When they have an open door and a blank piece of paper, you get to really see and they get to really see and learn, tangibly what was important to them, what draws them in about learning, because each one of your kids is going to have some different aspect of the experience, in their response. And that helps create this love of learning intrinsically that they are going to benefit from for the rest of their life.
That's right.
All right.
That was amazing.
Amazing. I'm excited.
Yes.
Let's go on a nature walk, Jenny. Come on.
I know. I'm ready. Well, we hope this helps you today. And so we taught you how to do the curriculum. We taught you how to take it outside your walls. And we hope that helps you with your family and gives you some ideas of what you can do that's kind of out of the box and kind of frees you up and helps you keep your sanity, like we talked about.
Right.
And if you have any questions, let us know. We are here to help you. All right?
We sure are. Enjoy saving time, money, and sanity.
That's right. Brain cells. Yes, we need them.
Keep them.
That's right. All right.
We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.
Are you looking for a place to connect with other homeschool moms? Well, we have a platform where members gather to support each other throughout their homeschool journeys. Moms just like you. We even have a spot for your kids to interact online in privacy and safety. So head over there and start creating community. homeschoolwell.com.